Good evening. Welcome to the Planning Board meeting of July 22nd, 2025 in the Carver Town Hall Meeting Room Number 1. The proceedings will be videotaped and rebroadcast by Area 58 TV. If we could all please stand for the flag.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. We're going to take our agenda and discuss the Chapter 1A on Lot 1 Indian Street first before we get into the MBTA discussions this evening. Mr. Bott.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I thought we had done this before. You may recall there was a couple lots on Indian Street and it had a bog in the middle of it. So I don't really know why it's back, because I'm pretty sure the last time we looked at it, we decided it really doesn't have a use from the town's perspective, right, because of the physical configuration of the lot with the bog in the middle of it.
Right.
So I'm not exactly sure why it's back.
Okay.
But if the board has changed its mind that they would like to exercise their 61A property, for the folks at home, land is held in agricultural use oftentimes has a tax benefit to it under Chapter 61A. And when that land is being sold or the use is being changed, the town has the right of first refusal if they want to buy the property, matching a bona fide offer.
Right.
And towns have done that before for open space, for housing and things like that. So that's the gist of Chapter 61A. We get first dibs if somebody wants to sell it and change the use of it.
I don't know, maybe if something changed because they have submitted it again, and it looks, if you look at the conditions on the purchase and sale agreement, that the price will adjust if they can't get the two lots. So maybe that's why it's being presented again.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
If we could see it on the map, because I don't think this is one that we've discussed before.
Oh, okay.
This
I'm about 99% sure it is, and if you want me to go find it, I'll give it a shot.
Isn't this the one on the corner of 58 and Indian Street? It borders against conservation land in the back and a subdivision.
I don't think it's on the corner.
Let us see.
I can't really tell from what
It's
I'm
too
looking
small.
at here. Oh, okay, I see, it's not the one on the corner.
It's well into Indian Street.
I'm pretty sure we looked at this back in April.
Right, I thought it was the one on the corner, but I can see by the locus it isn't.
Yeah, so there's the locus right there in the middle of Indian Street. Not the middle, but somewhat down from an intersection. There's the original parcel we talked about with the cranberry bog in the middle of it. That's likely the A&R the board endorsed.
We didn't endorse that.
But to my point, this is the property on
can we
Indian Road
see it on
that I
the map?
believe the board discussed previously.
Yes,
And the board did not have much of an inclination.
exactly.
And there's a plan with lots of topo lines on it as well. It once again shows you the locus on Indian Street, right in the middle.
Can we see it on Google Maps, please? because it's marked as number 1, which probably threw me off a bit.
It's marked as Lot 1, which is their convention for naming things. Google Maps does not recognize Grady Engineering's lot nomenclature. So
Maybe Mass Mapper might give us a better idea.
So, if I may, cut to the chase.
Please.
Why are we looking at it on Google Maps? I think we've determined what the lot is and where it's at. If we
I
wanna-
would like to see it. Is that a problem?
Let's go and look at the GIS, which will probably be much better
I'm sure
opportunity.
it'd be
Take a
much
look.
better.
Let's see.
Did you see, Tom, they have it as Assessors Map 92, Block 1, Lot 0-R.
Thank you. 92.
92, Block 1, Lot 0-R.
Maybe 2-1, bottom left-hand corner there. Maybe.
That looks a lot like it there, doesn't it?
That would be it, I would imagine.
Is that conservation land behind it?
I don't know. That is Buzzards Bay Coalition behind it. Is there anything else we would like to know
No,
about this
no.
piece of property? The town has previously decided not to exercise its 61A option.
Personally, I think the town should exercise that option and add it on to the conservation land.
At what price are we looking at? Are we looking at the 150 or the 300?
That is the price of $300,000.
Yeah. Because there's a contingency, the addendum on the P&S refers as to whether or not they can get 1 lot or 2 lots. And if that's the case, it would be 150.
And that hadn't been decided yet, so I would leave that up to the lawyers to decide.
No, I just mean if the town exercises its right, I just didn't know if that value would have any impact.
Right, I couldn't discuss that because I just, it hasn't been through the planning board and conservation commission.
Right.
And it's questionable at best because of the 100-foot no-use zone. You can't build a house within 100 feet, and the conservation is just, I don't know how they stand on putting roads and.
So it's a
Well,
majority
some
vote of the
setbacks.
board if the board wishes to exercise the 61A option that they previously opted not to exercise.
Any further discussion, or do we want to go to a vote?
I think it's part of Indian Brook too, which is important to the town. So my recommendation, I'm gonna vote to exercise. Chapter 61A in regards to its environmental potential plus its benefits to the town in regards to the open space. Because that open space also goes all the way up behind all those houses on the right-hand side. It's owned by Carver, and it's kind of all tied together with the Buzzards Bay Coalition. And then it jumps across Indian Street, of course, to the other conservation property across there.
Right. I guess my concern would be, right now, if Mr. Bott definitively knows whether or not we voted on this, because I don't think that we should be voting.
Well, it's back before us again for whatever reason.
Right.
So if we voted on it previously, and whatever that outcome was,
Right.
this is your chance to vote it again,
Okay.
because it's in front of us and it has this document with the time frame ticking towards whether the town wants to exercise that right. So this purchase and sale agreement was from 23rd January 2025.
Right.
So likely, like I said, I'm quite certain that we have, but it's before us now. So what action is the board?
So we
going to
can vote again.
take? Yeah.
It might have been part of an A&R previously,
I think you're right, yeah.
but not what's proposed on here. More to break it up into lots in that area.
But how can we vote on it if we don't know how much it's worth?
Well, it is either $300,000 or $150,000.
What's the
If the
big
town
difference?
decides, and the select board make that determination. They ask for input from conservation, from the planning board, as well as from the assessors. Previously, we have looked at other properties and decided we would exercise an option on a property on Main Street near Lakeview that had quite a bit of potential for 6 units of housing. We thought it was a good idea. The select board opted not to exercise that option after looking at a number of different scenarios. So your role in this at this point is, does the planning board feel that this is worthy to exercise their option on?
Okay.
You'll be one of those parties that say what we think, yes or no. And like I said, I am relatively certain that we've done this before, and we're doing it again tonight. So
Right.
a simple motion and a vote by the board, the majority decide if the board wants to exercise their 61A option.
Okay, very good. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that the board recommends the town use their Chapter 61A option in order to acquire the property to benefit the town.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. Mr. Robinson?
Aye. And you're looking for me to say aye?
Well, I think we got a
We have
motion and a
first and
second.
a second.
Yeah.
So is there any other discussion, any further discussion on this?
Well, I think with the town meeting coming up reasonably soon, within the month, CPC funds could potentially be used for open space acquisition, much
Okay.
like they were for the other 2 properties next to it.
Okay.
That's the end of my discussion.
Do you have anything to offer? Do you have any comments further?
No, I think Connie has it nailed.
All right. Very good.
Am I first?
You are first.
All right. Kevin Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
All righty, we'll let them know. Very well.
Okay, next on the agenda this evening is to have further discussion on the MBTA zoning bylaw. Mr. Bott.
If I may. So we've got a number of parcels. We had discussion about a number of different areas. The things that we talked about before, I've made some screenshot maps of those areas. I've also got the information on the process as well. So with that, I'm just going to launch into, where we're at with the process. So at this point, it looks like there's going to be a town meeting on October 7th. It gives us a bit more time to have hearings for things like that. So with that in mind, we have got a meeting scheduled with Barrett Planning Group, and we have had one for a while, for August 5th. So that's our first discussion with Judy Barrett on the MBTA zoning bylaw. In addition to Judy, there is also resources available through CHAPA, the Citizens Housing and Planning Collaborative, for community outreach. And so I have been talking with these folks for a while. They have regular meetings in what's called a cohort group, similar sized towns, having these discussions about the zoning. And so it's one of the tools that are available to us. So I reached out to them to find out about them doing a meeting with us as well. As it says here, the technical assistance provides tools to help navigate this zoning, provide more information. It goes on to say that the 92% of the communities that participated in the program approved an MBTA district compared to 75% that didn't participate. There's no charge to the town for that service. So I currently have Will Radigan of CHAPA queued up to meet with us on August 12th as part of that ongoing process to vet the bylaw in those areas as well. So with that in mind, on schedule-wise, meeting with Judy on the 5th, meeting with Radigan on the 12th for public outreach. And then we'd be working on zoning bylaw, and in order to have our first hearing on September 9th, which gives us time to have a few meetings, public meetings with this, to have our first actual hearing on discussing the shape of the zoning. That would put us at a September 9th hearing and allow us to have at least 2 hearings on that. The 23rd, we could have another one in the interim if necessary, in order to have sort of our process done by a town meeting on the 7th. In talking with Barrett Planning Services, this is the scope of services that we've negotiated with Barrett Planning, that they would attend and provide a presentation to the planning board on 8/5, attend and provide presentations at planning board public hearings. Originally it was one, I asked for a second. They will provide educational materials and working maps for Carver. And this is our segue to tonight's discussion. In the modeling analysis, they'll model up to 3 locations for the town's review. As we've talked about this before, it's an iterative process. This Commonwealth wants to know, well, where are you proposing to put this? Are you looking to put it out in the middle of the swamp, or is it actually buildable land? So part of this compliance modeling is part of the zoning process. So Barrett Group will do the analysis for us on 3 locations in 3 areas. So we can't send them 25. We have to kind of narrow it down and get our priorities together. So based on those 3 locations for town review, I think we should talk about some of those areas we've talked about and try to winnow some of those down. Once again, we don't have to do it tonight. We might, look at some of those things, have some discussion about it, and bring them back to Judy on the 5th when we have that meeting with her, and get some insight from her about the viability of some of those areas. And with that, I'd just like to start with the areas that we've talked about. Oh, there's one other thing. This is one of the materials we got from CHAPA. What does 15 dwelling units per acre look like in Carver? And in an earlier memo that I put together for the board, I showed a couple of housing types: walk-up type of housing, manor type of housing. And so this is some of the things that they provide, and this is what 15 dwelling units per acre looks like near Carver. These are things that exist. And I will say one of the things about graphics like this is, while it says there are 12 units at this site, and it's a house in Kingston, those units typically aren't 3-bedroom units. There's likely a mix, and likely more 1s and 2s. When you see an old house like this that's been made into apartments, it's typically 1 and 2-bedroom units. So while it says that this house is 14 units per acre, there likely aren't 14 3-bedroom units in that.
Right.
And one of the requirements for the MBTA is no restrictions on familial status. It has to be available for families of all sorts. So it could be 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. So I give you these slides with that caveat that while they say there's 12 units here in the house on Second Brook in Kingston, and 3 in this on Seaver Street, they may not be 3-bedroom units. In fact, I'm leaning in to say that they likely aren't. Here on Ladd Avenue in Wareham, 2 units, that's obviously a duplex. Middleborough, which is a terrific development near the downtown area. They've redone these a couple years ago. This is 7 units at an density of 21.6 units per acre. And here on Court Street in Plymouth, 3 units, and they're proposing that as 26.2 units per acre. The things that we've talked about in the zoning is that you can, while you don't have design guidelines, you do have density calculations, and we look at trying to have the housing that fronts on the main streets of Carver, that you could tweak that to make sure that the structures on the front are something more of this sort of massing as opposed to a 3-story apartment building. Mm-hmm. So we do have that ability over a district as long as we net 15 dwelling units per acre to have a smaller density at the front of that district. So when you drive by, it looks like something like this, and what may be a block or two behind it may be something with a bit more mass and looks more like an apartment building. So these tell you that they are these dwelling units, this density, but I say it with that caveat that they likely aren't, a house full of 3-bedroom units or something like that. So with that, some of the properties we recently talked about. Let's see how we can get this all on the screen.
Quick question, Mr. Bott.
Sure thing.
We can still require parking to be behind the buildings?
That's in our zoning, yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of the properties we talked about last week, and this is 30 and 32 West Street. And this is the boneyard, auto recycling facility, whatever we might call it. It's somewhat intriguing because one of the things that we look at, if the zoning was to pass, and someone was to say, yeah, I'll build something there, then something like this would be an opportunity for someone to say, hey, I'll clean up the site. Very few towns have the ability to clean up a site. Not that saying there's anything dirty about this site, other than the fact that there's these vehicles parked all over it. But very few things are cleaned up and mitigated by municipalities and governments. They're typically done under a development scenario. So if you look at a piece of property like this, it's got what it's got on it, but that might be an opportunity for someone to say, yeah, I'd take that on and I'd clean it up. But once again, every dollar that it costs to develop a site makes it less attractive for someone to actually develop it. So with that, this is 30 and 32 West Street. As you can see, the map has wetland areas and cranberry areas on it, and lakes and streams. So it has frontage on the road in a couple different places. You can get onto the site, and there are wetlands and cranberry bogs around the site. So that is 30 and 32 West Street. Next we have Meadowbrook. We talked about this last week as well. This is right behind us here. This is Meadowbrook. It's 16.32 acres. And you can see the wetland areas along here. The flat green properties, these are open space. So here we see wetlands and rivers and streams over here, and where you see this just sort of sage-colored green, that's open space parcels. So that is Meadowbrook, 16.32 acres. Next, we have, this was Wankinko River Inc. that we looked at last time. As it turns out, that is a landfill. So I am going to say that's likely one we can probably eliminate without a whole lot of discussion.
I would have to agree.
All right. Do I have consensus on that?
Yes.
Okay. We're trying to get it, down from 500 to 3-ish. So here we have the concrete plant, Acme Shore Cape Cod Mixed Realty. And this is 65.6 acres combined between the two. And as you see, there is a fair amount of wetlands and cranberries around that. The property actually comes in here north of the Berry Guys, a place I know very well, onto the property, wraps around the back, and wraps around these bogs over to the other side around those bogs. So that is the Acme Shore Cape Cod Ready Mix, and that's 65.6 acres. And all these properties, I just took the assessor's data. I did not go in and try to calculate the amount of upland for these, because we're still just doing sort of some back-of-the-envelope calculations for these. Next, we have 0 North Main Street. This is what's known as the property behind Noria Gas. It is 14.8, it says maybe 14.8 acres, because that's the information I got from Arthur Borden after they went to the Conservation Commission. So that is 0 Main Street behind Noria, and that is just north of Route 44 on Route 58. We have 223 Meadow Street. This is one of the ones that Connie sent to me. It's an area about 25 acres. And that is Meadow Street. This is Pine Street here. So this is down in the area near King Richard's Fair in the south part of town. And then another from Connie. This is 51 Pond Street area. So this is the school bus barn, the town's garage DPW yard, and Carver Middle Elementary, or Carver Middle High School to the south, and all that green you see there are open space. Next we have 85 through 89 Wenham, another one that Connie sent me. This is the Ohana subdivision that we recently approved. This is the cemetery over here, and that's a house that's, I guess that's what 89 Wenham is, but 85 and 89
It's
Wenham.
on the, you kind of connect across the back of the property. It doesn't, it's on the other side of that house.
It's on the other side of that house.
I think that house is 87.
All right, so we'll take another look on the GIS at 85 or 89 Wenham, whatever that would happen to be. So scrolling along here, let's go to, so this is 52 West Street, 8.26 acres. And it is yellow brick road. I don't know that Elton John ever visited here, but that appears to be some ancient subdivision or something like that with a road that comes in here to this area, which is 8.26 acres. And then we have 0 Mayflower at Ridge Road, and that is 70 acres, and that is largely wooded lands and cranberry bogs. As you see that, heading back off.
I was thinking primarily to the west of the road.
And then we have 33 Wareham Street. And that is entirely someone's open space. So those are the, oh, I think we got one more.
So I think we can eliminate that one.
And then we have Roby Propane. And this is one that was, this is on the south side of Route 44, Route 58, Roby being here, and behind Noria being just north of that. So these two are approximately in the same area on either side of Route 44. What do we think about some of those parcels? And we'll go back, since we went through the walkthrough, and talk about.
Seems they can park an airplane there.
So 30 and 32 West, you know,
I'm in favor of that one.
it seems intriguing. And an actual property, and I talked about the last time about how the parcels I previously identified were based on sound land use principles and things the town has previously talked about. So while the town hasn't talked about redeveloping this, the ability to have something cleaned up, saved by development is the coined phrase. It has some merit from a land use planning perspective, not just spitballing things at the wall. So I think that 30 and 32 West Street has some merit, has some potential from the perspective of what people who do my day job on a regular basis say, yeah, why not? So how does the board feel about 32 West Street?
I support that. Yes.
I would support that too.
I would support it.
All right. All right, and then we've got Meadowbrook right behind us here. in the town center, an area the master plan identified as an area for residential development. Once again, the master plan did not envision anything on the scale of the MBTA zoning, 15 dwelling units per acre, but it did say, yeah, put things in places like this. There's already higher density housing there, so it has the potential. We talked about, is there a potential for using the property next door for housing for something like that as well? So how does the board feel about Meadowbrook? Or perhaps adding some other parcel next door to it, the fire station site?
Mr. Bott, if buildable, would it be limited to 15 units?
Yeah, 15 dwelling units is the minimum.
But we
And keep in mind, all we do is create the zoning. The developer has to figure out how to get water and sewer and all the other required infrastructure for the site.
Now, when we say minimum 15, are we allowed to cap that?
Well, if the zoning says 15 dwelling units per acre, that's 15 dwelling units per acre. I mean, the town could say, we really want housing. The state wants 15%, we'd love 20. But I haven't heard that from you guys. I mean, I might have misread the room, but
No.
15 is the minimum and likely the maximum in Carver, if I could put words in your mouth.
I would say you are correct.
All right, first time.
Yeah.
All right, so how do we feel about Meadowbrook?
I support that.
You could really use an upgrade. There's a lot of issues over there. The buildings are old, mold, and they've had water issues for a while, but I would support that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense.
I would support it as well.
And I think it would help revitalize the center of town if it comes in.
Right.
And I'll say it again, and I'll say it over and over. We're not building anything, we're creating zoning to create an opportunity for somebody to do something.
Right.
All right. Acme Shore and Cape Cod Ready Mix, 65 acres in the south part of town with plenty of wet stuff around it. It is on Tremont Street, which is Route 58. And most of the time when you look at higher density housing, you really want it on a street that has more carrying capacity than some of the other streets we'll talk about later on. For the most part, if you have a road that has a number, 58, 44, Route 3A, it's unlikely that a development, even 235 units of housing, is going to significantly impact the level of service on that road. We talked about Route 44 last night. I did a little looking at Serpid's information on that, and there's a couple places on there that are in their top 10 bottlenecks at different times of year and different times of the day. But most of that bottleneck, and I may use the example from when I was in Kingston. So in Kingston, Route 3A and Route 106 and Route 54 all kind of converge at Gene Creedon's house. This lovely man who has a great old captain's house there. And whether we built another thing or not, it wasn't going to change that convergence to traffic, because everybody who was going from Plymouth to Brockton drove by there. Everybody who had to get off the highway because things were clogged up there. So a development, any development, 235 units of housing, even if it was all in one spot, is unlikely to impact the level of service on a road like 58 or near 44. And that's why we typically see these type of developments near highway interchanges, because you want to get that stuff, if it is built, off your local streets and onto the main streets and get those folks moving out of town. So with that said, how do we feel about Acme Shore, Cape Cod Realty, 65.6 acres on 58?
May I ask a question?
Sure thing.
Do they do traffic studies in these areas?
There's a lot of traffic data out there. If you were doing, and we'll have to ask Judy that question to get a better answer for it. But I would venture to say, as I said, you can't juice up your zoning to try to make it more difficult to build this, but it wouldn't be unusual to have some kind of development that was going to create multiple units. You wouldn't do it for 4 duplexes on Tremont Street, but you might do it for, you know, a 40-unit building, because how do people get them off the site?
I am a little torn about this one because I don't think that this would be attractive to a developer at all, knowing the property the way I do. However, I want to vote for it in that respect because I don't like this, but I'm afraid that if I support this, it will put, and I have to disclose this, but my family's property in jeopardy. And for that reason, I can't, because that reservoir that you see right beside the line, that's what supports our cranberry bogs. You know, that one up a little bit. And it's always affected, well, we have that one and then the other one. So when they're using water, we lose our water. So I can only imagine what the impact would be if we put 200 units back there, or even 100 for that matter.
And I'll say this, when I was in Falmouth, a group approached us about doing battery energy storage on a parcel of land that they had, that they were looking at buying, but they didn't have quite enough, and so they approached the Lawrence Lynch Company about, hey, can we get some of your asphalt plant property? And Lawrence Lynch said no, because there's probably a few things on the planet harder to permit and locate than heavy industry, like an asphalt or concrete operation. So chances are, if you put it in there or not, nobody's going to have the money to buy it, because if you bought it, they say, yeah, we'll sell it to you. Find us another site to move to.
Exactly.
And we'll do
Yeah.
that. So that sort of heavy industry, you know, unlikely.
And for that reason, I would support it because of that theory. And I don't think that the Robert B. Auer Company would have to entertain, you know, any offer, because they don't need to. Yeah.
Those things are very difficult to move. After you get it there, you keep it there for quite some time.
Right.
So this is on the south part of town, Route 58. Obviously, 195 is just south of us, 495 just south of us a little bit.
Right.
So it makes that component of, it's on a road that has a number, it's not likely to affect the level of service, and there's a limited access highway just down the street from it.
Right.
What about all the traffic in that area?
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I mean, and that's what Mr. Bott's referring to when we were talking about the duplexes. We had an issue with that. This would be disastrous, but, you know, it is Route 58, Tremont Street.
So, I mean, we can come back and say, well, we got
Right.
several other we like the looks of, and
Right.
we can cycle back around to this if you like. Zero North Main behind Noria. We heard from a fellow the other night, he's here tonight, who says he would love to build something for you there.
Yeah.
It's has those components of land use planning where you want higher density housing near the highway. It comports with the master plan that says put development near the highway. My original methodology was, you know, look at the land that's already been developed or already been disturbed, and I was looking at south of Route 44. But this is one that's in play. It meets those requirements. It's on a numbered highway, and obviously most of the folks who would be coming out here would be making a left and getting on Route 44. Zero Main Street behind Noria, maybe 14.8 acres. How does the board feel about that?
I wouldn't be in favor of zoning the entirety for that.
Well, as we talked about the other night, the district could span both sides of the highway. And it could be, you know, one district could be Noria and Roby both. Span the highway. We'll talking to Judy about that, about contiguity as well. But you typically, when you look at zoning, you usually, because that's how the lines are already drawn, the people tend to have zoning follow the lot lines, but lot lines change as people develop property and things like that. So some part, all part, how do we feel about Noria, north of Route 44?
Would that zone also include Shaw's, old Shaw's?
Well, at this point, we're talking about this one on this part. I think we've talked about Shaw's. Shaw's is not in the list at this point because it wasn't really part of the discussion that we had was it last week? We've been here a lot lately. I think
It was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, at this point, we're looking at individual parcels, and then we put those in the compliance model and see, you know, how they play out.
Again, I have traffic concerns in that area as it is with the Green Business Park going in and expecting almost 10,000 vehicle trips a day going just in that quarter mile, half mile there.
And getting them on the highway and getting them out of town.
Yeah.
Perfect location for stuff like that.
So I'm not particularly in favor of this one. And if we were, it should only be a portion of it.
Personally, I would rather propose Roby's because inasmuch as he is here again this evening, I think at least I made my position clear.
Yeah, you weren't. You
Yeah.
were not ambiguous.
No.
All right. So we got Connie portion, Marietta, not so much.
No.
Maybe.
It's too attractive to a developer. It's,
Well, keep in mind the goal of the zoning is to create housing. That's in the mix there.
no, I understand
yeah,
that,
okay.
but I don't want it.
I know.
You know, I'm against it, and I would like to make it so it's not so easy for a developer to come in here and put up all this housing,
Okay.
because it is going to have such a negative impact on this town.
Right. Anybody else?
I agree with Mary Ellen. Just a bad idea for this town.
We have to come up with something, but I'd rather have it be a little bit more of a challenge for a developer to come in.
Okay.
Did we look at the Spring Street extension at all?
I don't think it's in the mix, but let's wrap up Zero Main. Having anything from you?
I'm not in favor of that. I agree with Mary Ellen that I would prefer to have it be a little more difficult and
Okay.
undesirable.
Just so we're clear, Roby's is closed and it's likely to be up for sale.
With a challenge,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of a hurdle that
Yeah.
they.
So while we're talking about it, here's the Roby property. So this is one of the ones that I previously identified, and I think in my memo previously when I kind of tried to drill down on this a little bit, I thought that you might be able to net 65 potential units. You know, basically doing this, you know, rough calculation of dwelling units per acre with setbacks around open spaces. There's actually two other pieces of property that Roby owns as well. It's at Tremont Enterprises these days. Two pieces of property in the back that were potentially 41 and 48 acres. But what we were talking about in the case of the zoning was keeping the parcels that we're looking at on the main drag in areas where we're not cutting down more trees and digging up more dirt. So the Roby property is, you know, 4.3 acres and right off the highway.
It also includes the one where your arrow's at.
Yeah, because the GIS, we're working on improving our GIS, by the way. I can only highlight one parcel at a time. So the parcel behind us at 40,000 square feet, that one underneath it, horseshoe that goes around, and that parcel right there are the 4.3 acres. So how do we feel about Roby?
I would support that.
was worked in conjunction with like Meadowbrook and another property on the maybe south side of town,
Right.
I could support that.
Yeah,
And when we talk about the concrete property, I would only recommend a portion of that property anyways.
Yeah.
Not,
the whole.
what, 65 acres.
Right.
So we got two people going, why not Ruby's?
Yeah.
Mary Ellen? Kevin?
That sounds fine.
I can work with that.
All right. All right.
I'm not giving it a thumbs up, but I mean, it can work with other options.
All right. So we have 223 Meadow Street area. So this is down south of King Richard's Fair. And the roads that people would come in and out on are the ones that everyone was very concerned about King Richard's Fair driving on to get in there. Meadow Street, Pine, down in the south part of Carver, where you can get to 58 eventually on Rochester Road, but you've got to go through these sort of more country roads to get there. That would not meet the standard parameters we would look at for higher density housing in.
Right.
So what do we think about 223 Meadow Street, 25 acres?
I think that would be a tremendous strain in that area.
It's residential as well.
Yep. So the zoning
I'm not in
doesn't.
favor of that.
Yeah, the zoning doesn't change the underlying zoning. It's an overlay district, so people can use the underlying zoning or the overlay.
But we are talking about residential housing.
Yep. At 15 units per
Yeah.
acre on country roads.
Yeah.
Again, when it comes to Roby's, I'm loath to lose commercial property, but it might work in conjunction with others.
Right. So I got a couple of, probably not for 223 Meadow Street.
Probably not.
Probably not.
All right, so next we have 51 Pond Street. And this is the area that is the Carver Middle High School and the Highway Barn off of Pond Street. Smaller road, takes you down to South Meadow at one end and what, Center Street at the north end?
Pond Street.
Pond Street. That's Pond Street, yeah.
What's the acreage there?
That is 29 acres, and it involves the highway barn and the open space behind it, likely used for games and fields. I don't know. I think that, I don't think it's actually, I think it's all treed, much like the rest of the property is.
Well, if we looked at that, we'd definitely have to relocate that because it's municipal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that could be more of a strain.
I won't fight you if you say unanimously no.
I think that's too much of a strain on the town.
I agree. It's too much, especially in that area with everything else.
Because it's tucked away as it is,
Mhm.
the barn and the buses and such, so then it'd have to all be relocated and it may end up costing the town more money than,
Yeah, Mark Twain said, buy land, they're not making any more. So if you're going to relocate something, you're going to find a place to relocate it at.
right,
So can we pass on 51 Pond?
I would think that they would have to make an exceptional offer to the town to,
well, that's a valid point, yeah.
plus I would limit it to what is shown there and not impact the open space area that's surrounding it. So if we're talking about putting up 3 different smaller zones rather than one big giant zone, I would think that should be considered.
Right, so
But
we're
again,
whacking 51 Pond Street.
Because I'm looking at that and I'm thinking maybe that's 5 or 6 acres there.
All right, Wenham Road. You're saying, so let's come back to Wenham Road.
That's
'cause
old Route 44.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Wenham Road. This is the subdivision that Goslin just did a while back. And let's bring it up on the GIS. So that's 89, that is 89A.
How many acres is that?
89A is 4.65 acres.
And how much is 85?
Well, 85 is developed as the subdivision.
So it's gonna be at least,
So there are, let's take a look. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 30,000 square foot lots and 3 acres out back. So let's call it 6 acres.
You're referring to the new subdivision or the house adjacent?
there was a house there and that got torn down. They put in, it might have been just before you got on the board,
Oh, okay.
for the new subdivision there.
Yeah, that was the Browns property, I believe.
Hmm?
But that,
It abuts the cemetery.
right, no, I know. Yeah, that was the Browns property. I was just wondering, are you referring to the new subdivision or the house next to it?
I was referring to the new subdivision.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was throwing 89A into the mix
I
too
see.
because it's right there.
Okay.
But I honestly think this is one to probably to come back to, and I would put it lower on the list, but
Right.
All right, so 52 West Street, 8.26 acres at the end of Yellow Brick Road.
That what Dr. Rice used to
see, I'd much rather see,
I don't know.
Is that
30.
down by the Robertsons?
I'm not
I'd
sure
much
what-
rather lean towards 30 West Street than that. That looks, it's got waterway in it and I'm not
Yeah,
familiar
you've
with
got-
the property.
You've got plenty of acreage at 30 West Street.
Right.
All right, so it's okay to get rid of 52 West?
I would think so.
Yeah.
All right, 0 Mayflower and Ridge Road, about 70 acres. So here's Mayflower Road, here is South Main Street, AKA Route 58. Yeah. Out in the cranberry bogs, out in the woods.
That's off of Mayflower?
Yeah, so this is Mayflower Road right here. So we come down Main Street, turn onto Mayflower, and we, on the right side of the road, and when we get to the end, we wind up at the former Shady Acres, now Yogi Bear's.
So Ridge Road splits that property, and I was only throwing the west side or left side of that property up. I don't see,
But Ridge Road, Connie, is not a, it's not a passable road.
oh, well,
I believe it's owned by the residents at one point at the end. I don't know if that matters or not, but I think it's like a paper street.
Yeah, I don't think it's a paper street, because if it was a paper street, it would likely show up on the assessor's map, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's
Because
probably just a road that people gave a name to, just the road that people drove down to get to their stuff that somebody gave it a name.
But I think think it does end, and it's not for
Yeah, it looks like it keeps
public.
traveling, looks like it keeps traveling down, south down to more bogs.
And I happen to know one of the people that lives where it comes in, and they have a problem with people trespassing, so I don't think it's a road that people can, unless you own part of it, because I think they maintain it,
Unless you're going out for perhaps shenanigans,
yeah,
then
possibly.
there's,
Oh, the property was listed as Ridge Road, so I
Yeah,
figured it
no,
was a...
I know it does that.
Yeah,
I've
public
done some
road.
title work in the area, and it's very confusing. Yeah.
I would also put this very low on the list.
all right, and we got 33 West Street, that big open space parcel. Pardon me, 33 Wareham Street, 28 acres, open space.
That's all open space,
Mhm.
correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so I
That's
think that could be
that's a
taken-
negative.
Take that
All
off.
right. All right, so that brings us back to, let's go through what we've got
Can-
some concurrence on, 30 and
can we
32
look
West
at,
Street.
Can we look at the Spring Street extension?
Yeah, we're going back,
area?
we're going back through the list entirely.
Well-
So we got concurrence on 30 and
Well,
32
I'm just
West
saying
Street.
that
I
I
don't
put
think-
it
Excuse me.
as forward as a proposal, but I don't see it up there, and I think it's something that should be brought into consideration.
What's that?
The Zero Spring Street extension
Okay, well, let's
That-
look at that in a second.
he had mentioned.
So 0 Spring Street extension.
Hmm?
Isn't that giving up lot one?
No, it's actually, a large portion of it is owned by the state. See that big property across the back there, and then all those mini properties on the right?
So we've got 13 Spring Street. We've got this property that doesn't have a name, likely because it's part of the road right-of-way for Route 44. Likely also Route 44.
But it is right on top of the highway and easy access.
So is this the thing you're talking about, Connie?
You had it highlighted earlier above that one, yep.
Yeah, I think this property is actually on the internet right now, where you can buy it for $99,000.
Huh.
Except it doesn't have enough frontage to build on. So a lot of people have been coming by, hey, what about that thing? I'm like, unless you find somebody who wants to say some more land, some more frontage, then you're not going to do much with that. So that is 3.63 acres of land. And to get to it, you would likely drive down Spring Street Extension, past those folks' houses.
It doesn't affect any of the businesses in those areas?
Nope,
Right there.
although Richter Pond Business Park is across the street over here.
And if I was, I would add the property just to the south onto it to make it a reasonable size.
That piece of property there, Mr. McGill, Mr. Mulready's property, Mr. Mulready's house,
Yep, that's the one. How big is that?
that is 5 acres.
So then you got 8 acres.
8 acres that you can't get to. I don't exactly know how, now, I don't know the history of that, but I don't know where the frontage for that lot is. But sometimes these things happen back in the day, like, yeah, we'll give you a building permit for that.
You can't even see where it is.
Looks like it has an easement through the property out front. It's probably a shared driveway.
What is that one?
Yeah, but easements are at frontage, so I don't know how they built it, but there's a house back there.
Hopefully, we just didn't cause a problem for this man.
So, no, house is a house. So you got 8 acres of landlocked land that you can't get to.
So we'd have to add something else to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
put it high in contention, because like I said, if you were to access that and have that happen, you basically drive past all those folks' houses on Spring Street extension.
Well, there's, what, only 1, 2, 3, 4 on one side and 5 on the other? And it's right on the exit. So I would add those, all 3 of those properties in there, that one, the one above it, and the one that connects it to the road.
And I would say that it doesn't meet any of the parameters of typical land use planning to say, do that. It's not on a state numbered highway, it's near Route 44, but you can't get to it, and you're putting it physically in someone's backyard.
Anywhere we put it, it's gonna be in somebody's backyard.
Nope, everything's been in someone's front yard so far. How does the board feel about the Spring Street extension area?
I'm in
Personally,
favor.
I'm not in favor of that because too much clearing would have to take place. But it's only a clearing matter.
Right. Well, I like that it's right at the highway exit, and,
I don't know as if it works. I mean, I like the location, but I don't know if it works, given the criteria that is outlined for us.
And keep in mind, as I was going to say before we got to Spring Street Extension, we have sort of concurrence on 30 and 32 West Street.
Yeah, that's-
Meadowbrook.
Yeah.
Roby, so we've got,
well, I'm
What-
not in favor of Roby's. If it works to split it up
Yeah.
into 3 smaller,
so we've got those 3 that we've leaned into.
if it work with Meadowbrook, and then you add another smaller one in there somewhere. But it'd have to be like it would have to be sold to me as a group deal.
So we're
Like if
working
you-
on
if you-
sharpening our quiver here to come back and have some additional discussion about that. And we can
Right.
have that additional discussion on some of these other ones as well.
Because I like the Spring Street because of its location, and the barn, I'm okay with the barn on, is it Pond Street, as a portion of that, but I'm also okay with a portion of the concrete factory. But again, I hate to put any commercial space up on for the potential to be used as residential, for the town to lose
All right, so we
potential.
got Connie who likes Spring Street Extension, Kevin, not so much. Other members?
If we can just save that.
Okay. Very well. Zero Mayflower Street at Ridge Road. Is that one we decided that we could do without?
I think we can do without that.
Correct.
85, 89 Wenham?
I don't have a problem with that.
I think so. I think it's right in the middle. And Wenham Road is a busy road as it is.
Acme Shore and Cape Cod Ready Mix? also on the list for future discussion? Or did we get rid of that one?
Future discussion.
Okay.
To me, that seems like a good one that could not be developed on because they're not gonna sell it.
They could probably.
Yeah, and it's on a numbered highway, and it's near a limited access highway. All right,
Much
so,
like Spring Street, but I would lean towards that over Spring Street,
Yeah.
just like I'd lean towards 30 West Street, far and above all the others, just because if it does get developed, that the cleanup
Right,
takes place.
right.
so at this point, we got a short list that we can work with, and
Right.
just hold it in abeyance. Our next meeting is August 5th, where we'll talk
Yeah.
about this some more.
Can we, do you mind if we open up any
You're-
input
yeah,
from the public?
You're the chair, ma'am, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know it's not a public hearing, so I'll keep it real short. I couldn't hear whether some of the streets were okay with you guys or not. So I just wanted to point out, as Mr. Bott, I'm sure knows, both Meadow Street and Mayflower Road are scenic roads. It's just something to think about. You might want to keep stuff off of that. I mean, that would be my feeling, but it's up to you. And then I know there's I think it's a little over 100 acres of the Plymouth Airport that is in Carver with nothing on it.
Thank you.
Just a thought.
That's perfect.
Excuse me.
Oh, you come up.
Good evening. My name's Konstantin Paganis, and I'm the owner of the Naria, behind the Naria, the 29 acres behind Naria. I know that you guys voted. Maybe I got half a vote from Mr. Cornelius. And everyone else, I think, doesn't want to consider the property because of its viability. Of course, I could do something else there. You know, it's highway commercial. It was previously cleared. So it's not, really wooded land. It's all invasive species, Russian olives and things like that. But I would request if, since I've done the work, I paid for the engineering, would you guys consider putting it in the compliance model just to see what it comes out with? Even if you could vote against it, that's fine. But in case the other properties don't satisfy the state, and this is a solution, and we could even talk about the traffic. I know that's your biggest concern, Mr. Cornelius. We've done improvements, traffic studies and improvements to take care, and that not only to take care of our traffic, but to improve the overall peak time level of service at that intersection for the cars going on the highway. Something I think you should consider. And I'm willing to work with you and do a lot of work to solve that traffic problem that you have. Then Mr. Bott said that the level of service of any of the 48s or the numbered highways, it's not going to significantly impact it, but improvements can significantly improve traffic overall for everyone.
Again, I appreciate you coming forward, but are you listening to what we're trying to figure out?
I know what you're saying. I hear it very clearly.
Do you live in town?
I don't. I'm in Plymouth. And I've heard that the residents don't want this to happen.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I don't speak for everyone, but I think I speak for a lot of people. And if you lived in this town, you would understand it, because the people that live here are either born and raised like myself, or people that were attracted to the town and came here for its character, and which is very rural, very quiet, and this is so disruptive. So I appreciate you offering your land to us as an option, but I don't think you're reading the room right now, and that this isn't really, and I could be going out on a limb right now, but I don't think this is what we want.
Let me rephrase. If all the other avenues are not, if you find yourself in non-compliance with all the other avenues, and you see maybe the best alternative might be Nuria, the property behind Nuria. There's no residents around there. It's, it's right next to the highway, as Mr. Bott mentioned. So maybe if you look at it from that perspective, maybe it is a solution, the least disruptive solution to the residents. So that's my
I'll give you that. I will give you that much,
Okay.
and thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks. So would you consider, my question, to put it in the compliance model or not? Or would you be able to
Personally,
vote on that?
right now, I don't want to do that,
Okay. So.
but I'm not the
One
only
no.
person
I
here.
think we'll take it under advisement.
Right.
Would be-
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to offer any comments or have any questions? Okay.
I'm not a good speaker, so I'm losing my voice. My name is Becky Foley. I live on Rochester Road. I don't know if you guys have seen this from Representative Sweezy. He's trying to stop what's trying to be happening in
I
this
did see
town.
that on Facebook. Is that for July 29th?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I believe Mr. Gatsky's involved in that as
Is he?
well as
Uh,
Dooner?
Dooner, yeah.
Yes.
Senator
Ms.
Dooner, yes,
Yes.
yeah.
I believe there's several bills in circulation.
He's trying to exempt adjacent communities from compliance, which is us.
Right, right.
Also reduces punishments and extends compliance deadlines. And the third one, I don't know what it says, it got cut off when it got printed. But it's worth trying.
No, I would agree.
Thank you for bringing that forward to us.
Yeah. I don't want this to happen.
And what is it, a call to action?
Call to each, you can take it if you want, I don't need it.
Thank you very much. Call to action, amending MBTA zoning Tuesday, July 29th, 1 PM to 5 PM, in person at the State House, virtually on Zoom from home, or you can submit written testimony to the committee. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm not putting my email.
It's fine,
do
thank
not have
you.
to.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all I had for tonight, so I think we've got a
Okay.
short list.
Did you have a question?
Oh, sorry.
No, okay, very good.
Sorry. Should have looked at it.
Okay.
Unless you want me just to reiterate about the airport property.
No, we've taken that down,
I just wouldn't mind saying it. Who'd want to build on it?
right. Yeah. Right. Okay, Mr. Bott?
All right, so also on our agenda tonight, economic development plan participant. So I've added a couple of things at the bottom of the agenda, just sort of potential meeting dates. Our MBTA hearing date tentatively scheduled for September 8th. We do have a meeting scheduled with Serpide for the economic development plan. We hope to have the Economic Development Steering Committee assembled at that point for a meeting on September 16th. And with that in mind, I'll ask a question I asked last time about anyone's interest in participating on the Economic Development Plan Steering Committee.
I am interested in that. I just was wondering if I could have a little bit more information about the time that's required or meetings, if you have any of that information.
Yeah, so typically with something, it's a planning process that Serpent is doing for us. And I anticipate that meetings are going to be monthly at some point to sort of review information, review data, talk about strategies and things like that. As we get closer to sort of formalizing the plan, meetings could be more frequently than once a month. But I would venture to say that we're probably looking at a monthly meeting for an hour or two with Serpent, with those committee members. I'm trying to keep the group to 7 because 7 means the quorum of 4. And so if somebody can't make a meeting, you can still have that meeting and participate
Right.
and move it along. And we do them likely as a hybrid type of meeting with teams. So whatever information was shared to be recorded as well to help
Okay.
people keep up. So oftentimes in these, we're not asking you to write stuff. We're asking you to read stuff, listen to stuff, and lend your experience and your insight into Carver and opportunities as we look at how do we move forward with having a stable economic base that is, businesses in town. What sort of businesses? What sort of what do we want? What sort of we wouldn't want? And looking at those sort of strategies. So
Okay.
that's what I anticipate.
Very good. And when do you need a decision on that?
Well, I'm going to be talking with the select board about this, I think, on August 5th.
Okay.
Does that seem like the right date? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it is because, yeah, so I'm talking with them, and then I'm heading over to the police station
Okay.
for our MBTA discussion. So the select board will be talking more about that. And they haven't created a committee yet. We've just been having this discussion with the town administrator about how that might work in the charge
Okay.
of the committee.
Very good.
So we'll have an opportunity to talk about it on August 5th.
All right.
And that August 5th meeting is going to be at the police station because the select board is meeting here.
Okay.
And I wanted to make sure we had a room big enough to make sure people didn't feel like they had to go down to the basement level and
Very good.
make sure there's room for everybody for that. So that's what we've got going on. I don't have any other business
All
for
right.
the board tonight.
Does anyone have anything?
No, although the minutes I got were incomplete, and I wasn't sure where to go with that. I think there was 6/10/2025, the recording ran out, so,
Oh, that's right. That's the meeting I was, the joint meeting that went downstairs after, right? Because I had called in for
Was
the
that
joint meeting,
6:10?
and then you continued.
I see, I don't have the hard copy, so.
I was
couldn't-
looking at Kevin's, because Kevin has the hard copies.
So what meeting was that you said, Connie?
6/10/2025?
So we obviously
at
don't need to vote on
7:10?
this, but we'll,
So,
the question is, what's up with the minutes?
right, they say they're incomplete and the recording ran out, so
Which one do you want, the 24th?
I think it's the 10th. I was reading it online, so it looks a little different to me.
One of them that you have there, Kevin, it says.
Oh,
show
so
minutes.
maybe I didn't get the, maybe I got a different one. Maybe it's in the other one.
Well, we
Right here, June 24th, recording stopped.
So let's continue that one then,
What's that?
the 24th, till we get,
The 24th is the one that he has that says recording stopped. So
right.
What do we do about that?
We need some kind of legal,
Oh, Mr. Bott was taking notes downstairs, if that's the same meeting. So I think we just need to hold off till our next meeting on
Yeah,
that.
I'll take a look at what's
Yeah.
up with those.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 6/10/2025.
Second.
You get a vote on that? No? Vote on the minutes?
you looking for me to say aye?
If you would like to.
Yes. I'll
And
say aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says
And
aye.
then we'll put off the 6:24 ones. And if the chairwoman is interested, I would make a motion for adjournment.
I would love that.
Excellent. So moved.
I'd be happy to second that.
Very good. Mr. Robinson?
Mr. Robinson says aye.
Mr. Shea says aye.
Ellen Sedillo says aye.
Mary Ellen Williams says aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
And thank you all for coming tonight.